So I picked up a 38 caliber pistol and I put it to my chest and I pulled it.
Wow.
The deal is, I didn't mean to.
Yeah.
I never held a gun in my life. I didn't know that.
Just one off.
I mean, just pull ya. And I had the most, I got to tell you, spiritual experience that I think I'll ever have in my life. I stepped out of my body on my left side and watched myself shoot myself.
Oh my.
And my life went before me, if you will. I don't know how to explain it. It wasn't like a movie or whatever. It was just all-knowingness, and it was in black and white. And that bothered me the most. It was in black and white. But more importantly, there was like no need to deny, no need to lie. It was like as if I was butt naked in front of God himself.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
There was, you can't lie. You can't. Because it's just like you see right through.
Yeah,
you're there. There's no, you can't hide anything.
There's no hiding what you've done in the past.
It's all encompassing. Knows everything. Everything. Okay, yeah. Well, I'm gonna do this right before it's that time. No, you ain't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and then there was a peace that came over me in that time frame. I don't know how long I was out of my body on the left side. I just know I came around to the right side, and you can't see me do it, but the way that I came back into my body, it just came back and boom.
Yeah.
And now I felt that blast and I stayed standing. I took it.
Wow.
But boy, everything.
So you remember the pain of the actual being shot?
Yeah.
Wow.
Not only the pain, the stench.
Yeah.
The gunpowder stench is went right through my aorta. Do you know what the aorta is?
Yeah.
I do.
That's the main shingon. That's the main one. And it pierced it. So the doctors didn't even know that it went through it. But because it did, it closed right back up.
Wow.
But I took that shot and my ears start ringing and I knew I went down and I've been paralyzed ever since.
So who found you?
Wow.
The police came because a lady
heard a gunshot.
Called the police and they found me.
Oh man. And then did you have to like get surgeries and stuff like that to
sure. When I woke up, I can tell you this, when I woke up, my hands, I was so they cut me open and they took my liver out.
Yeah.
And it was so the liver was out of my body and they just had a big heavy pad on me. And I was so bloated and so swollen, and my hands were tied to the bed so I don't pull the deal out. And the bed was going back and forth to make sure that the fluid didn't stay.
Yeah.
Oh my God, talking about torture. Anyways, the first thing I did is see my mom, and she gave me a pin, so put it by my pin, and I said, spiritual experience. That's spiritual experience. I had a spiritual experience. Step out of my body. That was all I can say. That's all that mattered to me, is that I let somebody know that was that powerful. That for me today, there is no doubt, still to this date, 30 years later, no doubt in my mind that there's a Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah, for sure.
I know. I seen.
Yep, I've had a similar experience. I died once as well, and I've shared it on our podcast before, so I won't share it again. But yeah, you can't deny once you've already you've been there,
right?
Yeah,
right?
You can't, and you do. You see yourself. I was above myself, but
were you?
And you can't explain the peace that overcomes you. You can't explain the colors that I saw. I can't explain. It's amazing.
Yeah.
But you can't deny it. The rest of your life, you just can't deny it.
That's my truth.
And the thing is I became an alcoholic after that.
Yeah.
And,
whoa.
And
well, so did I actually. I mean, I dug deep.
Yeah. But I still couldn't deny the experience. You know what I mean? It's almost like you run from it, you hide from it, because you don't want to recognize the realization of it.
Right?
Yeah. But your situation, well, that sounds like a movie.
Yeah.
It reminds me of the Doctor Strange.
Just the gun going off on accident, and
Yeah. I really, I mean, I did not mean, I don't get me wrong. I loaded it.
Yeah.
Right. I loaded it. I put those bullets in there. I put it towards my chest. I just didn't know it was going to go off.
Yeah.
Yeah. You had the contemplation was there, but you hadn't made the decision to do it. And then it just went off. Wow. Yeah,
and then to live through it.
Yeah. And
that
then
is intense.
how much your life changed because of that decision. And probably, I'm assuming you used that as a positive in your life because we're talking to you now. Yeah. And so can you kind of explain a little bit about that? Like, how did your mindset change and shift into a positive instead of a negative?
Well, I can tell you it was a long process because what happened afterwards was I got sober because I was so far down, so low that I ended up getting sober, and I stayed sober for 12 years. Very, very, very active. But I'm going to say in a AA program. Well, I've already said it, doggone it. In that program. Yeah. that program. Sorry. But I stayed active, and I was very passionate for about 8 of those 12 years. But then I just started seeing things that I didn't think were right, and I became not so passionate anymore. And then the day came when I just said, buy me a drink. Yeah. And so I took that drink, and I went down within a month. I was a full-blown heroin addict. Yeah.
Wow. Isn't that crazy how fast that can...
Because I was taking, they were giving me so much oxycodone that I went to the doctor and I told him, hey, something's got to change. I'm taking this a little bit earlier. I'm taking a little bit less. I'm taking unprescribed. Writing notes the whole time. I didn't know it. They cut me off that day when I went to and let him know. And so I went through withdrawals for 14 days of hell. And after that 14 day, I said, give me a drink. Yeah. Okay. So I got caught up in that oxycodone disbursement of all of that stuff. Now, I'm not saying that I'm a victim. What I am saying is that it was medically unprofessional to cut somebody off after so much. I had so much oxycodone and methadone inside of me that it was just very unprofessional. Yeah. And so I did go back out. And I got to tell you, within a month, I was full-blown heroin addict, and 10 years of my life were the worst. I feel like Job in the Bible. Yeah. Absolutely. Moses in the desert. There was no color. But 5 years ago, there was no more color in my life. There was no substance, no depth, no meaning, no purpose. Wow. There was no reason to live. I just would have died. Yeah. Yeah.
And your body just kept hanging on.
Yeah, all you're living for is that heroin, Yeah. And
how did you keep getting it? I mean, at that point, you probably started, at some point you were living off of Social Security, living off of, government help. So how were you getting the drugs? That's what always blows my mind. I'm like, people figure it out. How do they figure that out?
Yeah, it's called stop eating. Top ramen for 2 months. Whatever it takes.
So you could afford
everything that you have. Everything that you have, including your dignity.
Yep. Sell anything.
Let me ask you: were you ever homeless?
You could say that I didn't have I was homeless. Yeah, I was homeless. Yeah.
And so you're homeless, heroin addict, and like.
Sounds like a recent podcast we had with somebody.
Yeah. So.
So, and then I just want to add to that when you're in that state, unfortunately, bad things happen sometimes to people when they're in that company, right?
Yeah.
For sure.
You open yourself up to any bad thing. Yeah.
And unfortunately, for the first time in my life, I found out that there are bad cops out there.
Oh yeah.
That
it's not just in the movies.
Yeah.
It's not just in the movies. It's you're one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter that I'm one of them. This just happened to me. This really happened. Yeah, but you're a drug addict.
Yeah. Like you would get robbed or something like that, and then call the cops.
Yeah. Something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
A little bit deeper than that. But, I was assaulted. And,
that's too bad.
And the cops were just like, well,
they didn't see you even as
a person,
a human being,
yeah,
as a human being. And I did it real. I always thought that if you call the police 911, they're coming. That's right.
They're going to come help you.
Yeah.
That's what we're told. And there are a lot of great cops out there, but there are some scumbags too, and that's with any.
Well, that's with any
person in power that has some type of authority or power. They could exercise that in a very, wrongful way.
Yeah. So, but what I do want to say is that like I was saying, as far as I finally came to my bottom where I just left in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
I just left everything that I had or anything that I thought I had, and I just rolled. And I just rolled, and I just kept rolling and kept pushing. Pushing means pray until something happens, right?
Wow. Yeah.
So I've gone through it's like, wait a minute, let me stop. I've had so many people help me, even with a glass of water.
Yeah.
So many people have helped me to get to where I'm at right now. Trust and believe. I belong to a church, Center Church. They're my church family. And I surround myself with good people now.
Right.
I'm not doing what I do alone. I'm no longer alone.
Yeah.
Right? I got a support system.
You come to realize that you never really were alone.
Right.
Yeah.
You just had to be open to it,
Right.
Yeah.
I've gone through some dark alleys that I should not have come out of.
Mm-hmm.
And I never realized where God was with me then too.
Yeah. Exactly.
I've been protected the whole time, and I didn't realize it. I was lost. I was blind, and now I do see,
awesome.
But I had to die to be able to be born again.
Yeah.
And now I see.
It's kind of like that story of the person that his house has been flooded, water all around him.
Oh, yeah.
And he prays to God, please send help.
Save me. He's asking God to save me.
Right.
And
people keep showing up.
Eventually,
right?
people show up on a boat, and he says, "No thanks,
God's gonna
save me." And eventually, after like the third or fourth one shows up, God says to him, like, "I keep sending boats. Get on it."
Yeah, keep sending people to help you, and you're just not seeing it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So there's been people all along, and there continue to be. And I can tell you, because of what I've gone through in my lifetime, I can talk somebody off a ledge.
Yeah.
Right. You're like, I've been there, dude. I've been at the bottom of that.
And because I have I just told you my story in regard to shooting myself.
Yes.
And that's not something I want to go around and tell everybody, but I'm doing it right here, right now, because I know that somebody on your podcast can relate.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's the most important thing, I think, is when you share your story, it affects so many people, and
really
to have a platform like a podcast or something like that, YouTube, it's the easiest way to get your story out there and have
people hear it.
Yeah. Give people the opportunity to learn from it.
Yeah,
for
sure.
Absolutely. So what I do want to say is, recently I did 22 push-ups a day for 22 days for veterans.
Yeah,
you know
I
what
did
I mean?
that. I've done that one. That one's great.
Yeah, that was actually. But what I want to say is that, if you're at that stage in your life where you just don't want to live and life isn't worthwhile for you, just because you want to die doesn't mean you get to.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why I'm in this chair, because I didn't get to.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my situation also. It's I've overdosed on drugs.
Right?
Yeah, methadone.
And, oh wow.
Then
he was in a coma for that one.
And then 4 or 5.
I like the way you say for that one.
Yeah.
Well, for that one.
And then 4 or 5 years later, I was attacked with a baseball bat.
Well, let's be honest. He made an idiotic decision to go up there and
I was fighting.
Confront, to confront some people that, pretty much beat him to death.
I was fighting.
John's telling